Hey there. This is R.A. Menard Majia for Monks of the Way, and I appreciate your asking a question. You're asking, how can a person apply the Four Truths to life? And we'd have to go over the truths as I know them first, which would be that life is suffering, that suffering has cause, that suffering has cure, and suffering has end. And we could certainly go through those. Setting the wheel in motion, there's a long version discourse and short version discourse. Setting the wheel in motion is something that I'm citing here. That is where the Four Truths are prominently displayed in the Pali Canon and the teachings of Buddha. And first of all, life is suffering. What do we learn there? Well, we learn that if you live, you suffer. Buddha gives examples of unavoidable sufferings that we're all going to suffer, and you can't do anything about that. Life is suffering. Sure, it's also joy. It's also success of things. But people don't come and ask Buddha, of course, gee, help me. I have too much money. I have too much joy in my life. Too much whatever. Uh, Basically, it's the suffering. It's the suffering that they're wanting help with. So number two, suffering has cause, and Buddha outlines some causes of suffering being desires. Um, so we all know that if you get something, you're going to lose it at some point. We all know that there are laws to the universe, the way things work. And if we're going to apply the Four Truths, we know that we're going to suffer. So I guess we better make it count. We know that um, it has a cause. We should be looking into the cause. And, you know, per the Four Truths, we should be looking inside, not outside. Why things make us angry, sad, or afraid. Those would be inside, not outside. There are some things that are truly terrifying or, whatnot as example. Absolutely. But how you are internally with that, that's up to you, really. And so we can deal with things better if, first of all, we do know that if we gain things, eventually we lose them. If something lives, eventually it dies. Um, you have a friend or a lover, eventually you or they pass away. Things are going to keep changing like that, and impermanence is throughout the world. Pardon? And anyway, we go to the third truth, which would be that it has cure. The cure that you'd want to apply is the understanding, the comprehension of the process in the first place. You'd want to be mentally disciplined, mentally prepared for the way things work, for the way reality really is. Um, and suffering has end. That impermanence that I talked about, uh, the suffering will end. Certainly when you die, you don't have to suffer with the things of the material world. And whether you believe you continue or whether you believe it stops there, doesn't really matter. We should be doing what we should be doing right now anyway, whether there is or isn't a life after that. So, no excuses there. We are in the middle of it, we are in the here and now, and this is where it counts. So, the short answer of how to apply those four truths to life would be to take stock of the things that are anger, fear, and sadness and root out their causes within ourselves. And so there's contemplation that's necessary for this. There's an exploratory examination of reality, the exploration. Exploratory, yeah. And let's see, there's the contemplation. So meditation comes into play. Everything can click into place if you contemplate these things. Um, for an easy way to tell someone how they could get started on that, would be to, at the end of each day, get into a meditative pose and close your eyes and sit there and go over the day and look at the places where there were anger, fear, sadness, and root out the causes of those things. Contemplate that so you can be ready next time, and not so much if you do react as respond to those things. We don't want knee-jerk reactions. We want to be measured and disciplined. Um, so that's something a person could do each day, reviewing their day. They could also be looking at the positive, of course. I think it shouldn't be one-sided. Um, they should look at the positive aspects of their day and look how they were rooted and how they transpired. So you have a kind of a bigger view of what happens if you're using the Four Truths. A scientific approach, an internal approach, a cause and effect approach. And it works. Anyway, I hope you got the answer that you wanted. I cited the Pali Canon. I cited the setting the wheel in motion. I think a person could look into the Path of Eight also to look at the different parts of their life. Good things to contemplate there too, to apply to life, as well as the Four Truths. The Path of Eight and the Four Truths being very central to what Buddha wanted people to know, apparently, because he went on and on about it. Anyway, thank you for your time today. I'm glad I could be helpful. If you have more questions, I think you should ask. Have a great day.